Welcome back to The Curious Yapper. I'm Madison, your host and favorite yapper. The word of this week is pivot. I don't think anything went according to plan this week, and so I'll just take you on the journey for that. So a week ago on Sunday, I was checking in for my flight and realized that I was able to check in sooner than I thought it was. Turns out my flight was 2 hours earlier than I originally thought. So really glad that I figured that out before I missed my flight the next day. So that was not according to plan either. So pivot, and my flight was 2 hours earlier, which got me, to the plane and the airport sooner. So it all worked out. And then Monday was when I traveled to Texas for work. And my first stop was to get some queso in my body. That is an urgent need, high priority. And so on my way to the office, I was able to stop and get some queso. Loved it. It was delicious. And then it was fun to see the team in the office and meet some new people that came in from Florida. That was the purpose of my travels. And it was just a really great time. And then after work, I got to hang out with my Kylie girl, and we got to catch up on life and talk about real stuff. And I really appreciate that friendship and the authenticity that's in it and being able to navigate life together. So that was very soul-filling, cup-filling for sure. And then after that, I went and had dinner with my mom, and we went to Texas Roadhouse. It is not necessarily what everyone thinks of, what you might miss, but they don't have Texas Roadhouse up in the Pacific Northwest. So I was like, I need some rolls and I need I get the chicken critter salad because honestly, anything that's a vehicle for ranch, I am here for. So it was fun, delicious, and I'm heading home to the hotel to decompress before the day. Tuesday was gonna be a big day for me. And then she calls me and she's like, hey, my car won't start. And I was like, oh my gosh. So there's your pivot for Monday. Car wouldn't start, and I was like, well, I'm in a rental. I do not have car jumper cables at all. So I go and circle to where she was in the parking lot, and someone had just parked next to her, and I was like, hey, do you mind finding a new spot? Her car won't start, and I'm going to need my vehicle to give her some power to go. They were nice about it. We went into the Texas Roadhouse off of 121 in the Colony. Shout out to them. I told my mom, I was like, someone here has to have jumper cables, and you and I can handle it with a YouTube video after. So I walked inside. It's like, odd request. Do you know anyone here that might have jumper cables, or anyone that's like into cars that could help us with that? And they paged it on their little radios and found someone with cables, and then found I believe it was one of their head cooks or something back in the back, and he came out and actually did it all for us. So that was really lovely. Then we went to AutoZone and got that tested, met a really lovely guy named Nick and had a conversation. And I asked him if he had been interested in cars for a long time. And he said, no, actually my job is actually in IT, and I just took this job so I could really learn more about cars. And I was like, genius. How immersive and great. So that was lovely. He got us hooked up and ready to rock. Then I got to go to the hotel and zonk out, and that was lovely. I don't know about the yappers out there. I enjoy my things at home. I love to travel and see the world. I haven't seen the world. I love to travel, and I'm going to do more of it. At the same time, I like the things that I have specifically purchased, being my own pillow, my own shower, things like that. So just being in a hotel is different. So that was Monday. Then the next day, Tuesday, I'm in the office getting to see all of my favorite colleagues and people. And I really missed that camaraderie and just people knowing who I am, what I'm about. And I just really enjoyed getting to see everybody on Tuesday in the office. And then I believe I told you guys last time I was in Texas, I organized a little happy hour thing. Well, I am 2 for 2 in a failed happy hour. So once again, I invited people at work to go to a happy hour, and I was like, this place is always open. We're gonna go to Legacy Hall and there's food options, drink options. It's just perfect. It's indoor or outdoor depending on the temperature. And I was like, hey, everybody, we're gonna meet here, Legacy Hall. I wanted people new to the team in the area to see it because it's a really cool place. And then I was getting texts on my way there and they're like, hey Madison, it's closed for an event. And I was like, you are joking. So luckily someone else on the team helped problem solve and we ended up going somewhere else in that area. But you guys, I am 2 for 2 on a failed happy hour. I can't make this up. I was telling the team that I will join the happy hour, but I am not planning a happy hour probably ever again. So that was funny. So that was the pivot of Tuesday, a failed location once again. And I invited everybody. But this time I was like, hey, save my number because just in case there's a plan change. So people had my number just in case. I don't know if anyone went to Legacy Hall, didn't see us there. Not really sure, but that felt like a fail. And then after that event, I was going to go get cookies from my favorite place, Cookie Society in Frisco. If you haven't been there, go. It is a small business, Black women owned, and they have delicious cookies. And so I was going with my friend there and I could not find my car in the parking garage. I walked, I think I wasted about 15 minutes. Luckily I had taken a picture of my spot number, but the math wasn't mathin', and I walked and it was bad. So I lost my car, the rental car, for a little bit, then got to go to Cookie Society and try their new flavors for June. They change them every month. So I always look forward to seeing what the change is gonna be for that month. Got to have a lovely cookie stop with my friend, and then we went to dinner at Lane's. I had never been there. Apparently Lane's was before Cane's. Tea, drama. Curious if you guys have had both and which one you like better. I think the fries at Lane's were definitely better. I like the sauces at both places. And other than that, I don't know that I have a super big opinion on which is better. So that was fun, but the Tuesday had some pivots. Couldn't find my car and the happy hour location wasn't available. Love that. The next day was in office again. And then after work, I stayed a little bit later. And I was like, oh, hey, I was supposed to meet my dad. And I said, hey, I'm gonna be a little bit late. And he's like, oh, me too. His late turned out to be longer late than mine, which crunched our time together. But I was meeting him at Trader Joe's. And similar to when Kylie was in town and I just wanted to share all the things I love Trader Joe's. And Trader Joe's has saved my butt as an adult trying to cook for myself and keep myself fed. I don't know about you guys, but I sure did not sign up to adult in the way of like, I didn't ask to be born and I didn't know that I'd have to feed myself 3 meals for the rest of my life every single day, clean, shower, like all of that. So Trader Joe, shout out, has done wonders to keep me fed, to feel like I can actually have energy for other things in my life. So I am a classic Trader Joe's frozen meal for lunch. You will not catch me making my lunches. It will always be a Trader Joe's frozen meal. And then their Mexican rice is a staple in mine and Evan's household. Anyways, I love Trader Joe's and I wanted to share that with my dad and all my enthusiasm. So it was so fun when we got to go in the store and we're walking through the aisles and I was like, check this out. We've had this, it's really good. The instructions are just microwave or really easy stove, like whatever. But it was so fun to walk him through the aisles, and one of the first things we saw when we walked in was the seasonal lemon pasta and lemon pesto. He's like, oh, that sounds great. And I was like, let's do it. So it was fun to go through the aisles and get him some food. And I told him, I was like, this is your early Father's Day. I'm hoping that you love it as much as I do. And it's really easy. So we'll see if he turns into a Trader Joe's person. But that was really fun. And then right after that, I got to go have dinner with my sister and her family and got myself some delicious brisket cheese fries. They're delicious. Went to Son of a Butcher, that's on Grapevine, and it was very nice. And it actually had cooled off a little bit and we sat outside so that her daughter could roam around, and it was just a really great time to catch up with each other and eat some good food, because food is definitely what I miss being not in Texas anymore. So the food's not the same. And I will find some staples here, but right now it is not the same, and I miss queso for sure. So that was Wednesday, and then Thursday, I woke up early because I had to check out of the hotel, and I thought that was gonna take longer than it did. So it was an early morning, early start, got all my stuff, packed it up, and then I left early from the office so that I could make it to DFW. Oddly enough, I lived in Texas for a majority of my life, flew into DFW all the time. That was the airport. However, since I was from there, I never did a rental car because I had my own wheels. So that was a new experience to do a rental car at DFW. So I left early so I could figure all that out, get gas on the way in, and it ended up being good. Figured it out. DFW's rental car has like an entirely rental car terminal. So there are lots of different companies, but they do have it figured out. So I returned the car, and then I caught the shuttle, and the shuttle going to the terminal I was supposed to be in. So that was great. And then on my way, I saw that my flight was delayed, and I was like, ugh. So that's the pivot of Thursday. Flight was delayed, and I was originally trying to make it to a game night that someone had invited me to, and I really, really wanted to go. And I was telling Evan the night before, I said, I'm exhausted completely. However, I really want to go to this game night, so that's what I think I'm going to do. And he said, well, it might not be up to you. He was right. He was right. It was not up to me because my flight was delayed and I couldn't make the game night anymore. So that was a bummer. Pivot, of course. And I'll just go to the next one. I'm hoping that nothing pops up in my schedule. I'm like, I will clear it. I want to go to this game night. So that was Thursday. Then I was now at the airport early and I was in Terminal B, and it somehow was like, I'm just gonna keep walking because there's no point to just sit here for 3 hours. So I just started strolling around the terminal, and then I saw that B connected to D as in dog. I was like, oh, this is fun. Turns out Terminal D is it. I think that's the international terminal, and they had so many different shops and restaurants, and it was just so fun. I saw a flight casually leaving for Madrid. I was like, that is so cool. Maybe someday that'll be me. And so I walked around, wasted some time. Then I smelled some Auntie Anne's. And you know I had to get me some Auntie Anne's pretzel bites. They were disappointing though. Sad. They were not delicious. And I was like, you know, I'm not just going to keep eating these. These are not as good. Wetzel pretzels, now that is it. But Auntie Anne's in the airport was not great. I had a couple bites and I was like, there's no point for this. So had more time to kill, I guess, more time to waste in the airport. I ended up reading some of a book, and I finished, I think on Friday, I finished Iron Flame of the Fourth Wing series. Have you read that book? I got some thoughts when I got to the end. Did you guys also have some thoughts? Because I had some thoughts. Anyways, I have the third book of the series on hold. We'll see when it is my turn to read it, and I'm looking forward to reading it. I enjoyed this series. Maybe this is a gateway to more fantasy reading, not sure, but I definitely enjoyed it. Let's go back to Thursday before I, tangent forever. But Thursday, once I got on the plane, then we landed, and the lady next to me, she was supposed to be way earlier. Her day was not great. She was supposed to land in Pacific Northwest at 9 a.m. that day, and we didn't get in until 8, almost 9 p.m. So she had a rough day. Anyways, as we were coming in and could see the mountains and stuff, I was like, it feels like home. And I was so looking forward to being back. I don't miss Texas in that way, kind of at all. And it just felt really good to know that this is home, and that is a huge reflection for sure. So it was really great to be home, and then Evan picked me up, and I am tired. It's been a long day. I am not fed, and when Evan picked me up, I was trying to put my bag in the trunk and the trunk would not shut. It was like beep, 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 beep. And there's like all this line of people, of course, right? Trying to leave and pick up their people. And it just kept beeping. And I was like, Evan, can you unlock it? Like, what's going on? And he didn't know. So we're both kind of frazzled. So that was like the reunion is frazzled. So anyways, the freaking trunk would not close. So I put my bag in the back seat and then it magically closed. We figured out later it's because I had the car keys in my suitcase in the trunk and the car was like, no, you can't do that. But it was just not the vibe. So then we're both already there. I'm tired. I'm hungry. So it was, so if you can imagine, it was not like the best. Anyways, but he graciously picked me up and then he dropped me off at home and went and picked me up some Taco Bell. So that was delightful. And then Evan had a big day that day. I'm hoping he'll come on the podcast at some point to talk about his journey with work specifically, his life, but work specifically because I know that people could relate. And he's got an interesting story. So he was filling me in on some of that. But the traveling for work in my head was like so glorious. It was fun to see the Texas people. I overextended myself way too much. I was completely exhausted. It was a challenging week just with time allotted to different people and then also personally, and it just was not great. So next time I am doing a work trip, I will not be planning all that kind of stuff. It was way too much and I'll probably be hurting some people's feelings. At the same time, I have to prioritize myself. So stay tuned on a next work trip back to Texas, but it was way too much. And I also noticed for myself that Evan and I would like text back and forth, but we didn't actually set the time to call every day. And the time change is challenging too. And we missed each other playing phone tag a couple times. And I was telling him that I realized when I travel, I actually need that allotted time to call because healthily or not, he's my rock. And it was not a great week for me. I was doubting myself in different things and I really needed the time with Evan to connect, which is great. I'm glad that I have him. And we also learned from this that I will need to set a lot of designated time to call him each day, debrief, and see how it's going. So both missed each other for sure. And then that was Thursday and I zonked out. So lovely to be in my own shower and my own bed, my own pillow and all that stuff. So that was nice on Thursday. Then Friday, that alarm came sooner than I wanted. Of course, it always does, but it's Friday. So went into work. People here in the Washington office were like, hey, welcome back. So good to see you. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so nice. And so then got to go home and napped. And then a person that I met through my high school and college job at the pool, they were graduating and I got to send a little encouraging video. Their graduation didn't turn out as they thought because they got sick. So it was fun to be able to send a little positive, encouraging video wishing them luck in their future endeavors. So I got to do that. And then Friday was just like super chill. I was a zombie, napped, was a vegetable on the couch watching some reality TV. And then we got Taco Bell again for dinner because we love a no-think meal. So that was Friday. And then yesterday, it was fun to wake up in the morning. I still wake up early. And we opened the doors and the windows to cool off the apartment. And the heat here is no joke. People really don't have AC. We luckily found somewhere with AC. But in the morning, it was in the 50s. And so it was so fun to open up all the windows and get the fresh air. And then after that, we went on a walk and got to go out in nature, move my body. I also noticed with traveling, since I was eating kind of anything and everything that I missed from Texas, with that and not moving my body consistently and just out of the routine, I could tell that I just, not only was I exhausted, so I wasn't in the best mental space, but also because my diet and exercise had changed so much because it's not the norm. So it was nice on Saturday to actually get out and move my body because I do enjoy doing that, and got to be by the lake again, and I just really enjoy the water. So that was the morning, and then we stopped at Trader Joe's, got some meals, and then I got some flowers to make a bouquet. Evan was like, let's stop at Trader Joe's to get our meals. And I was like, I don't want to go to Trader Joe's. And he's like, and then you could get flowers to get some fresh flowers to replace what's in your vase. And I was like, that I'm here for. So I brought some props. So I arranged these flowers. I went for pink, and it has eucalyptus, so it smells really good. So that was really fun on Saturday. And then after that, what did we do? Oh, then, because we're at the lake, I was getting into the kayaks and the paddleboard, so I did some research. We're totally gonna get them from Costco. And then I napped some, and then that's when I finished Iron Flame. Again, I got some things to say, I got some things to talk about. And then on Sunday, so that was yesterday, just chill evening. And then on Sunday today, I slept in and kept dozing off. And then we eventually went on a walk, and I should have listened to myself. Evan really likes to go long distance, and I was like, I want to go outside and I want to move, but I should have done my own thing. Anyways, we were going on a long loop, and I hit a wall, not literally, but figuratively, a wall. And then we found a spot to sit at a park. So anyways, went on a walk. And then another plot twist and pivot on today was I was so excited because it's been on my calendar for weeks, if not a month over. Book club was today, and I had it on my calendar from 2 to 4. And so we got back from the walk about noon, and I was gonna have enough time to just relax, get ready, and then go. The 2 to 4 was Central Time. So noon is when it started, and I'm reading this and realizing this at 12:10. And I was like, book club is happening right now. So I scrambled, went in the shower, and then made it to book club. I was late. I missed all of the beginning yapping session portion of it, which I love to yap, and that's how you meet people. But anyways, I did get to read, and it was still good to see people. But that was not it. I was disappointed. And then from there, one of the guys that I had met at the first trivia I went to with the girl from book club, he was there, and I saw him in the parking lot. I was like, hey, we're going to trivia this Tuesday. Are you free? Do you want to come? And he's like, yeah. So we got to exchange numbers, and that was fun. And then after that, today hopefully is chill. Hopefully technology works and this gets uploaded. Then similar to I brought my bouquet to show you things, I also want to share that other plants are thriving. So this is one that we bought when we moved here. It has so many new growth, little leaves. So I'm really proud of this girl. And then I gotta show you the update on the aloe girl. That's from my Kylie girl. This girl traveled the entire country. You can see she's got some cut off little portions of her, but this was the original long portion. But we have this girl. This one's growing so well, and this one is new. And then there's a little baby inside, little baby. So proud of this little aloe plant is gonna make it. And then just because I'm showing you things that I'm here for and loving, I gotta show you the snack that I am all about right now. We've got Smart Food Flamin' Hot Cheeto Popcorn, delicious. So those are my little Madisonisms. Evan's telling me he's gonna give me some brand deals. So Smart Food, brand deal. Costco, I'll do a brand deal with you. Who else? Those fiber bars that I talked about, I'll do a brand deal. Anyways, so that was this week. The word of the week was pivot. Nothing went to plan, and hey, still here doing my best. And thanks for the Yap Sesh Yappers. I'll see you next week to let you know if living outside your comfort zone actually pays off. Bye.